But that mindset trains us to prioritize others. It trains us to deny ourselves all for the sake of belonging. Because I love interactive and I want all of this to connect on all levels with you, I want you to take a deep breath. For the longest time, I found myself constantly seeking the approval from others and validation from others, which came at the expense of my own well-being. It wasn't until I took the time to do my own inner work for me to truly understand what people-pleasing was, what were the signs, and create my own strategies to overcome it so that I can live my life on my own terms. And when I did that, y'all, I truly understood how much of my life was being dictated by others, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going back. If you're wondering if people-pleasing is something that you might struggle with, if you're in the right place, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Have you ever found yourself saying yes when you really wanted to say no and often regretting saying yes to so many things? Do you find yourself going out your way to make others happy, even if it means sacrificing your own happiness? Just take a moment. If any of those questions and you're like, yeah, that's me, then I promise you, you're not alone, and also you're in the right place. Let's talk a little bit about what you can expect from this video. I'm going to be diving deep into the world of people pleasing. I'm not just a person that just throws a label out there and just assumes that you get it. No, we're going to talk a little bit about it, peel back some of those layers. Then we're going to move on into some practical strategies that you can use to empower yourself on the journey. I will be leaving the timestamps down below so that you can get what you need from this video. I also want to let you know that in the description box, you will also find additional resources. Now, let's talk about this people pleasing. To really understand people pleasing and understand why so many of us fall into it is to understand that it goes way beyond just being kind and considerate. When you struggle with people pleasing, it is you going out your way. It is you being kind and considerate and prioritizing other people's needs to the detriment of your own. So you're not even caring for yourself. You're not even taking the time to understand or take the time to audit yourself and say, hey, do I have the energy for this? Do I have the time for this? Is this something that I actually want to do? You forego everything about the self and you only seek others because that's where you find value. That's where you find validation, and that's where you seek your happiness. Because I love interactive and I want all of this to connect on all levels with you, I want you to take a deep breath. So maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're wondering, why do we fall into this trap? Why do we do this? Why do we prioritize other people's needs over our own? Trust me, I had the same questions in my inner work. I found my answers. So let's talk about why this actually happens. For many of us, people pleasing stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection or approval. If you think about it, we are conditioned from elementary school, maybe even before that, to get along with others. You need friends. That's how you're going to have a happy life. You need this sense of acceptance, this belonging. Nobody wants to be bullied. Nobody wants to be the black sheep or the outcast. But that mindset trains us to prioritize others. It trains us to deny ourselves all for the sake of belonging. This mindset, right, doesn't teach us boundaries. It doesn't teach us self-love. It teaches us that we don't want to be called selfish. We don't want to not receive love. We don't want to be bullied. But what they don't tell us is the truth, is that this is a never-ending cycle. Trying to please others, trying to be there for others, trying to get other people's approval and validation is a never-ending cycle, one that leaves you empty, burnt out, and feeling disconnected from yourself. You may know more about your friends than you actually know about yourself. True story. I've worked with women who have known more about their partners and friends, their desires, their wants, their goals, and their dreams. But then when you ask them about their goals and their dreams, they don't know. They haven't taken time to think about it. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't show up in other people's lives. As a coach and a therapist, I show up in other people's lives all the time, and I love that. But I also understand that me showing up in their lives will never be enough to satisfy my own needs and my own desire. And so what I want for you is to understand that there's a clear distinction between how you show up for others and how you show up for yourself. Awareness should be your superpower. If not, hopefully after this video, it is. In order to break a pattern, you have to understand and know the signs of said pattern. In this case, the people pleasing. So one of the signs that you have to be aware of is your struggle with saying no. We often struggle with saying no because we want to avoid conflict and disappointment, right? We don't want none of that smoke. We don't want to let people down, because if we let people down, then they won't see us as a reliable person, and that deals with our identity. You also just struggle with conflict and confrontation with people. You don't want people to look down upon. You don't want people to ask you questions. Well, why can't you do it? Can't you make time? Isn't it in your schedule? You don't want to deal with that type of interaction because it's uncomfortable for you. So by saying yes, you bypass the disappointment, you bypass the conflict. Another sign is seeking constant validation and approval from others. The key word is constant. It's not something that you're like, oh, that's nice that they gave me praise. Oh, that's nice that they thanked me. It is something that you constantly need to reassure your value. And on the other side of those compliments and that reassurance is anxiety and insecurity. See, when someone disapproves of something that you did or something that you said or gives you any type of criticism, you start to feel anxious, the unknown, you feel paranoid. That's what happens in that exchange when your whole identity, your self-worth is built upon other people. There are other signs, but I'm gonna share one more with you, and that's that you have difficulty expressing your true thoughts and feelings. Keyword is true. You don't want to be that one person that has a different opinion because you don't want to be in that sense of conflict. So your preferences, your desires go to the back burner and you're just going along with everything. But what happens when you going along with everything? Oftentimes you may find yourself in situations where you're doing things that don't align with your true beliefs and values. See, you're prioritizing what looks right without seeing yourself as an important person, as well as seeing yourself as a contributor, as a main character. I could keep going. Now let's talk about some of these practical strategies. Number one is setting boundaries. We got to stop overcommitting ourselves. We have to become more comfortable with the word no. Notice I didn't say all the way comfortable, just more comfortable with it. You're still going to find circumstances where you're struggling with saying no. That is okay. You're a kind person. That's a beautiful thing. We want to treasure that. I don't want to change who you are. I just want to say, hey, can we put some boundaries so that we're not burnt out, so that we're not overcommitting, so that we're not volunteering without other people asking. It doesn't mean that you are the villain, although I'm okay with being the villain sometimes. Setting boundaries is a protective measure for you to be your best self. Another strategy is assertive communication. I just shared that a sign for people pleasing is not sharing your true thoughts and feelings. Well, assertive communication is the opposite of that. We are going to be open and honest about your thoughts and feelings. You might not be ready to share that with others because you need to start with yourself. If you don't want to take on that extra load because you're unable to, because you have other obligations, start by saying, hey, I would really love to help you out. That's acknowledging, being kind, offering that hand. But then saying, hey, I have prior obligations, so I'm unable to really be there for you like I want to. Or, hey, can I check my calendar first so that I can see? Hey, I would really love to go to that restaurant with you guys, but I'm not a fan of Thai food. I actually love Thai food. But it's just to say that you start openly expressing your true thoughts and feelings. Start with yourself and then start communicating that with others. And the last strategy is to identify these thoughts and these beliefs and where they come from. So another interactive exercise that you can do is a journaling prompt. Take your time, sit in a quiet place. I want you to reflect on situations where you felt like you said yes when you really wanted to say no, right? Is it a particular person that continues to come to mind? What did you actually want to say? What did you actually want to do? And how do you want to operate moving forward? What that does is it allows you to reflect, but also empowers you with that self-belief that you can make a change and you can shift that mindset of prioritizing others and starting to prioritize your own well-being. I want you to start trusting yourself, lean into that inner wisdom that you're going to be cultivating. I want you to know that these practical strategies are going to take time to implement. Don't try to do all of them at once. Start to implement them, love on yourself, and I'm pretty sure that you will be happy with the results. If you found this video helpful, definitely check out this video right here. I believe it'll help you on your journey. Don't forget to check out the description box below for some additional resources. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye.